It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we have another video that was suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. And this one is a bit of an interesting one. It's from Scott Junn. It's titled Scott Rants About Dead by Daylight and Cheating. And I want to say I appreciate you guys suggesting these. This is definitely very interesting topics. I want to go ahead and get into this one because this is actually seemingly pretty interesting to start. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Games for cheating. Apparently this is the amount of cheat related searches per 1,000 players, so DBD is number 7 on the list here. So 20.
So as you can see from what Scott is showing us, DBD is the 7th most searched game for cheats, apparently, according to Surfshark. And it says that Rocket League and Siege are actually in the top 3. Which, if you notice, Rivals is up there, Siege is up there, Rocket League, and even Call of Duty being one of the highest in terms of search. Fortnite, one of the sort of the lower end, which is quite interesting. Apex is also up there too, which I've also seen that Apex had a pretty heavy cheater epidemic, so that makes sense. Fortnite, I haven't seen them as much. DBD, I know, was pretty bad. Like the cheaters are kind of insane. But yeah, let's go ahead and
out of 1,000 players are searching for cheats, which is a pretty damn high ratio. And I just, as an aside, I have to just ask, why Dead by Daylight? Why, of all the games you could cheat in, why do you pick the game with no tangible reward? It's like you can't become global elite in Dead by Daylight and you've got a symbol that shows that, so you can delude yourself that you're actually good at the game. Like there's no tangible reward. It's like going to your friend's house and cheating in like Mario Party, or like pick an odd job in GoldenEye. Just why?
That is actually a very good point from Scott, believe it or not. One of the few times I actually can agree. But yeah, that's a good point. Why are we looking up cheats for DBD? But then again, we have to remember that these people are really bad at the game, and they, for whatever reason, have a fixation on DBD, so they want to try to get free wins because they can't win normally. So that's usually how it goes. It's pretty embarrassing, honestly. I'm really not surprised.
I don't, just aside, but basically this shows that DBD, it does have a cheater problem, and I think we all know that. Every game that's multiplayer and features PvP is going to have some type of cheating issue. And I want to hop to Behavior's defense a little tiny bit here, because a lot of people think Behavior does nothing in terms of cheating. They don't ban anybody. They see cheaters all the time. The truth is they do ban a lot of cheaters. They do ban a lot of cheaters. It's just, it's pretty easy to just have another account and continue cheating. So
that is a very good point. I don't usually agree, but yeah, no, this is very true from what I've understood, because at least from what I've been told from a good friend of mine, I believe there was a point where I think DBD was free on Epic Games or something like that, so that already contributed to getting many accounts basically free of charge, so they have plenty of backups. I think, as well as I think buying sort of cheater or modded accounts or things like that are very cheap, from my understanding. From what I'm told, at least. I have literally no idea, 100% sure, but from what I've heard, they're very cheap. They're very easy to come by. There's plenty of them. I'm pretty sure there was a point where it was free on the Epic Games Store or something like that. So that also contributed to a bunch of the extra accounts that they were getting as well. And considering they just make so many, they're able to do that. Now, I also know that we've discussed in the past that DB does not use any sort of high level sort of anti-cheat, as we've actually covered in the past from I forgot their name, but I covered it in the past, and apparently according to people who do actually cheat in the game, their anti-cheat is not exactly the most high end in the market. Probably one of the easiest to get into. Not very hard to actually cheat on, apparently. So yeah, on one hand you could say they do ban them, but on the other hand it's they're not really doing a lot to mitigate it either. So it's a bit of both.
It's a constant ongoing war, and I know a lot of people have said stuff like, well, why don't you add server-side checks? So make it so if a player is here and then 1 frame later they're over here, this is 60 meters away, that's impossible for most killers and all survivors. So that would, send a red flag that they're cheating and it should ban them. But the problem is cheaters can make other people do that, and so it would cause cheaters to get other people banned, kind of like there was the whole Dark Souls fiasco, or Elden Ring even, where you could pick up a hacked item and then you would get banned. It's sort of the same thing, where they would have to find a way to regulate that long before they even start adding server-side checks for those things, because if the cheaters can make you do those things against your will, you're going to get banned and the cheater's going to be fine. That's obviously a much worse scenario, so they have to err on the side of leniency, or they're going to start false banning a shit ton of people. So that's the main counter argument to that whole discussion.
It is a very good point. Unfortunately, like I've even stated before, like we discovered, at least from what we're hearing from other sources, that their anti-cheat is not exactly the greatest. So, with that being said, it's probably what contributes to the cheater epidemic we do already have on the game as it is. I don't know for sure, obviously. Take it with a grain of salt. But from what I've heard, at least, it doesn't seem like it's really that difficult to get in there, obviously. So, and I don't know if it's because of their funds. Like, I don't know if DVD is like just because they're like losing a bunch of money that they're like not able to like actually afford the more I guess effective anti-cheat. I don't know for sure. Could be, could not be. I don't know. But maybe that's why.
That a lot of people do have. But it is definitely a problem. It's always been a problem. It's an ongoing war. As the developers have said before, they patch a vulnerability, hackers find a new vulnerability, then, script kiddies purchase those cheats, and then they go there. It's a constant back and forth. But DBD is definitely no exception to having cheaters, and apparently it's actually very high. It's tied with Fortnite for, actually people searching for cheats with the game now. I need to make it clear that doesn't mean this many people are actually cheating. It just means they're searching for cheats. So they might not go through with it. They might see, you actually have to like pay, because nowadays it's a bit more complicated to cheat. You have to like pay for services and stuff like that, apparently. So it's not like it was, back in the day when I was running Diablo 2 map packs. You just download a program. Half the time it's a virus, half the time it's the actual map pack, and you're good to go. But I want to, for the rest of this video, not talk about, the fact that there's actually cheating in DBD, because that's a nothing discussion. Of course there is. I want to go into the mindset of cheating itself, because in my opinion, there are basically 3 types of cheaters. The first one is people that just simply care about themselves. They just want to have their own fun, and a perfect person to exemplify this is, bringing it full circle, we're talking about Asshair, random guy on Twitter. Just using him as an example because people genuinely believe this. He was responding to someone saying, why will you cheat in online multiplayer games? And he says, who cares? It's, it's a game. How is it ruining their game? Blah, blah, blah. Go play single player game. It's my game and I can play how I want. Whether this dude is rage baiting or not, it doesn't change the fact that a startling amount of people have this mindset where they think that their multiplayer game is actually a single player game and only their fun matters. That's the
that was what's really funny, and that's why I don't use Twitter. It is the mere fact that we have a lot of people that are either rage baiting or have like these really ridiculous takes. So, obviously we have to take it with a grain of salt. But Scott is kind of right, at least when it comes to Twitter or even any other space where they talk about DVD, and that's usually the response you're gonna get. You get a lot of those kinds of people that are very entitled, that believe that it's like a multiplayer game is magically a single player game. And unfortunately, that's just how they roll. For whatever reason, that's just how they roll. And they can never consider anybody else at all, which is very strange. I really don't know why. I don't know the mentality behind that. But it is a thing, right? And I see that a lot with the DC epidemic, like the disconnecting and stuff like that. For some reason, they just think like that I bought the game, so therefore I can do whatever I want. It's like, yes and no. Like, with the devs still are allowing you to play the game, the devs are still allowing you to matchmake with people. There's still like other people are still also participating in these games and matches and things that are contributing to your experience. Like, these are things that come into play. So I'm just saying that is a factor that comes into it.
Only thing that matters. Now, here's the thing. I think some of this is normal. Because like I said, back in the day, in 2003, I cheated in Warcraft 3 online in PvP ladder. I genuinely used a map hack and I bragged about using it, and of course I got banned, but I actually straight up cheated. Now,
Why?
the reason I cheated is because I was 13. I didn't give a shit about anybody else. To me, I was the center of the universe. I'm a dumb fuck kid, so that's why I cheated. It was more fun to me to play with cheats than to not have cheats. And that was the only repercussion to it. I just didn't care otherwise. So that makes sense. And I would even argue that's kind of normal. I'm not saying most kids cheat in video games or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, overall more selfish mindset is common, and I would even say normal for children, so that's fine. And I would say the first category of these selfish people, I would say probably a good half of them are literally just kids. Dead by Daylight has a pretty young player base. If you look at the comp scene, there a lot of them are just straight up minors, so it's no surprise that you would find that selfish mindset there, because it's not that they're acting like children, they are literally legally children. And so I that's like the least offensive form of cheating. Those people are usually the types of people that'll do like the silliest cheats. They'll just fly around. Like I said, they only care about their own fun. So they're going to just fly around, insta-kill people, just have a good time, laugh, probably get it out of their system pretty quickly. That's the least offensive form of cheater, in my opinion.
The fact that there's even divisions to this is actually kind of insane, to be honest with you. But see if we can kind of skip over to the other part.
Common ideology amongst a lot of people that cheat and have that same selfish mindset. I'll just leave it at that. But that's the first type of cheater. The second type of cheater is far more pathetic. This is the type of cheater that genuinely did try to play the game. They tried to get good at it, but through whatever reason, they just couldn't. They just struggled. They're not able to win. They get frustrated. They blame the game. They blame matchmaking. They blame other players. They blame everything but themselves. And so they go, you know what? This game's unfair. I'm going to make it fair for me and start cheating. I'm only going to move 5% faster. It's not much of a big deal, and that'll actually make it so the game is finally balanced. Now as Survivor, the game is balanced, because before a killer is too OP, or a killer's using cheats to, you know, have 6 perks that he doesn't normally have. Now it's balanced. They basically concoct a world where their perception of what the game's balance should be is what it actually is. They basically, again, it's more just egocentrism.
That is very true. That is a good point. I never thought, I guess you're probably right. I mean, that is probably why people have subtle cheaters as well. There's like different divisions to it. And unfortunately, it's just an epidemic that we were kind of seeing a lot of within this game. And yeah, I mean, it definitely is something that is just kind of ongoing. And maybe we'll be able to get something in the future for it, but I think it's kind of unlikely, but we can only hope, right? We can only hope that eventually maybe it'll work out. Hopefully at some point, maybe not. This is DBD. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this topic at hand today. What do you think that the divisions of the cheaters are? I want to know what your thoughts are. Consider hitting the like and sub. Let me know what your thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next one. Consider becoming a member on YouTube, Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off our members from Patreon. Pro King 101, YouTube members: Cargan Falcon, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Cozy Bozy, Theo Endire, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. And for the Twitch, we have Final Girl Bunny, Leona Art, Zazabu, Evil Blade, Danica, Pro Vader, Cake is a Road, Zeneron, Ginsburg, Mr. Morik, Kevin, Zero Mocker, Ashai Boo, and Gryffindor. Appreciate you guys supporting. Really means a lot. If you want to become a member, you can go ahead and join through Patreon or YouTube members, or even sub on Twitch. See you guys in the next one.